Investigators say Cranford, by the way, left the new bottle of gin in a ditch along Cobham Road in the path of that inmate work detail.
With Victoria Lee's brother, who made that initial call.
Hey, is it you?
It started with officers meeting with Victoria Lee's brother, Chris.
Who's dealing with the mental health crisis? Who's having a nervous breakdown right now?
The door was briefly open after this, her mom standing by with the dog before it's shut. When officers asked to go in again,
I'm going to break the door down.
Go ahead, I'll stab you in the neck.
About 20 seconds later, officers make the decision whether or not to use their weapons.
Who wants to go less lethal? Who wants to go lethal?
All right, I'll go lethal. Okay.
I'll go lethal. Maybe someone else non-lethal?
Well, break the door down, ma'am.
Officers push their way in, and once the door opens, a black object is dropped. And Victoria Lee approaches officers with a water jug, and the fatal shots are fired. At a press conference earlier this week, advocates called for major change in how mental health crises are treated.
Mental health crises require understanding and appropriate intervention, not violence. This tragedy underscores the urgent need to improve police training and response protocols for dealing with individuals facing mental health issues.
A former Louisiana State Police trooper tied to multiple use of force cases wants you, the taxpayer, to foot the bill for his legal fees. We start with that here at 5. I'm Scotty Hunter.
And I'm Tisha Powell. That trooper has now filed suit to try and get you to pay up. WAFB's Elizabeth Bourgeois starts us off tonight. Elizabeth?
Yeah, the trooper Jacob Brown was assigned to Northeast Louisiana, working out of the troop in Monroe. He resigned from state police in 2021 after being arrested for hitting a black motorist nearly 24 times with a flashlight, saying he was using pain compliance to get the motorist in custody. Last year, a federal grand jury found him not guilty of violating that man's civil rights. The Associated Press found that Trooper Brown was involved in 23 use of force incidents over a 6-year period, with almost all of them involving black motorists. In Brown's lawsuit, he's asking state police to reimburse him the $210,000 he spent for lawyers to represent him on his most recent court case and one other. Since he was not found guilty on that one or the other case, they were dismissed. He and his lawyer say state law requires him to be paid back for his legal fees, so long as he was acting in good faith at the time. That good faith clause could be a sticking point. A state police spokesman today said they are still looking at the request and nothing has been finalized. Guys.
Good morning and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it. We're going to start our day out in Hillsborough County, where a detention deputy has been arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. Oh no. Where do they get those deadly weapons? A detention deputy with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, according to the authorities. Well, according to the HCSO, Corey Faircloth, age 55, double nickel, was arrested on Tuesday at 8:36 p.m. after he got into a fight with his neighbor outside of home on Blueberry Lane in Brandon. Okay. Working with inmates all day long. He just couldn't wait to join them. Well, he's joined them now. He was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and burglary of a dwelling. Whoa. With assault or battery. Ooh. You know what that means. I'm deeply disappointed and troubled by the actions of one of our detention deputies, said Sheriff Chad Chronister. He's a chronic goofball, Chronister is. We hold all of our deputies to the highest standards of professionalism and respect for all individuals. Any deviation from these principles is unacceptable. Yeah, right. Okay. That guy is a crappy neighbor, and that's how I see it.
We move forward, though. 2 Alaska State Troopers are charged with misdemeanor assault following a violent interaction with a man in Kenai. 49-year-old Joseph Miller and 42-year-old Jason Woodruff are both charged with 4th-degree assault. On May 24th, the troopers, along with the Kenai Police Department, confronted 38-year-old Ben Ticka in the back of his parked vehicle, believing he had a warrant out for his arrest. Ticka denied the warrant, and a press release says Miller sprayed pepper spray into the vehicle after breaking a rear window when Ticka refused to exit. According to the release from the Department of Public Safety, when Ticka continued to defy orders outside the vehicle, Miller used his boot to push Ticka's head into the ground, which was then covered in broken glass. A taser was also allegedly used multiple times while handcuffing Ticka. A canine was allegedly ordered to bite him, and the release says these orders continued after he appeared to begin complying. Ticka was taken to a hospital for treatment, and it was eventually determined that he was not who they were looking for. After reviewing the use of force, DPS leadership was notified of a possible policy violation. The Alaska Bureau of Investigation then conducted a criminal investigation where it was determined that criminal charges would be filed against both officers. In a press release today, DPS Commissioner James Cockrell at AST says that it holds itself to a high standard of conduct as well as accountability.
When I reviewed this video, I was totally sickened by what I saw. Two Alaska State Troopers that represent this uniform, represents this state, conducted themselves in this way. Because of their actions, there was significant injuries to the person that went to the hospital that was in that vehicle. And I've been with this department 33 years, and I've never seen any action like this before by an Alaska State Trooper. And it's hard for me to equate how this has affected me and other troopers that wear this uniform. Let me be clear, the action of these two individuals is not acceptable to me. It's not in the line of our training and our policy, and I know it's not acceptable to the Alaskans that we serve.
According to Cockrell, both troopers are still employed by the state and are currently on administrative leave. It's unclear whether that is paid leave. They're scheduled to be arraigned in court September 10th. According to John Skidmore, Deputy Attorney General for the Criminal Division with the Alaska Department of Law, body cam footage will not be released publicly until after the trial ends.
When there is body-worn camera footage, that is evidence in a criminal investigation. We do not release evidence in criminal investigations for the risk that that can interfere with a citizen's constitutional rights when charges are brought. This is an example of where charges have been brought. Any evidence from this case will be looked at in a court of law. The jury will be able to evaluate it. We will not now, in this case, nor in any other case, ever try the case in the media. We have to protect the constitutional rights of those individuals that are charged.
According to reporting by our colleagues in Anchorage, the dog has also been taken out of service following the incident.
And as we bang through the headlines, we've come across another bad apple. Imagine that. Look at this guy, old Jesse Horn. You know what? He's got that look, I'm telling you. That look that says, they're coming for my boat. They're coming for my center console, my bass boat. That's right, Jesse. You probably lost your boat in this one. A corporal, allegedly, with the Tampa Police Department was arrested on Friday night for driving under the influence, according to authorities. That's right. You're going to lose your jet skis too, buddy. According to TPD, Jesse Horn was taken into custody at 6:30 p.m. by the Pasco County Sheriff's Office after a traffic stop on southbound U.S. Highway 19 near Glissdale Drive in Port Richey. Oh, New Port Richey. Police say Horn was off duty and the only person in the vehicle. Well, what did he do? The incident is deeply disappointing to me, our department, and our community, says Tampa Police Chief Lee Bearclaw. Oh, he's a donut. Our officers are entrusted with upholding the law and protecting our community. Every employee is expected to hold themselves to the highest standards, both on and off duty. Well, Horn was immediately relieved of duty pending the outcome of the criminal investigation, according to the police department. He was hired in 2007, TPD said, with an internal investigation will also be conducted. Well, so it looks like a DUI for this guy. Okay. He's got that look. There it is, folks. You messed up, Jess. All right.
It has been a decade since the beating death of an inmate at the Santa Clara County Jail, Michael Tyree. Today, 3 former correctional deputies pleaded guilty to killing him.
NBC Bay Area's Marianne Favre was in that San Jose courtroom today and has more on the crime and how much time they'll actually serve. Marianne?
Technically, the 3 guards will each serve 11 years in state prison, but in reality, they will likely serve much less time.
Today was a victory for the vulnerable and the voiceless.
Santa Clara County District Attorney Jeff Rosen speaking out after former Santa Clara County Correctional Deputies Matthew Ferris, Jeray Lubin, and Rafael Rodriguez admitted in court that they assaulted inmate Michael Tyree. The mentally ill inmate was beaten to death inside his Santa Clara County jail cell in 2015.
For close to 5 minutes, fellow inmates heard Michael's screams, heard his crying. They heard him begging for mercy. But there was no mercy on the night of August 26, 2015.
In 2017, a jury convicted the three men of second-degree murder, but that conviction was overturned due to new legislation that changed the requirements for a murder conviction. Today, the three defendants pled guilty to involuntary manslaughter and will be sentenced to 11 years in state prison. But because they'll get credit for already serving more than 7 years, they will likely be eligible for early release after serving just 1 more year. DA Rosen says this case has prompted major changes in the county jail system.
Reforms adopted included increased training in crisis intervention, training on interacting with mentally ill inmates, body-worn cameras, and a revised inmate complaint reporting system.
Rosen says at the time of his death, Tyree was being held on a misdemeanor and was just waiting to be transferred to a mental health rehabilitation center.
Tonight, breaking news out of McDuffie County at 7 o'clock. The mayor of Thompson facing charges after being arrested this afternoon. And this is the mugshot just released about an hour ago of Benji Cranford. He's accused of providing alcohol to an inmate work crew. GBI agents were there waiting for him as a city council meeting wrapped up this afternoon. And we have exclusive video of that arrest right there. Your Sydney Hood was there the moment GBI agents showed up at that meeting this afternoon and took Mayor Cranford away in handcuffs. She has a closer look at what led up to these surprising charges.
City Council members happened to be meeting in executive session whenever this all started this afternoon. They met for about an hour before officially opening up the doors to the public whenever I made my way in there alongside other GBI agents. Now, I was there for a completely separate story. Now, council members still had some unfinished business they had to take care of before officially adjourning the meeting. The mayor gets up out of his seat, makes his way to the exit whenever an agent from the GBI approaches him, and I heard a little bit of that conversation. That agent told the mayor that he needed to step outside with him. The mayor had a shocked look on his face and proceeded to ask that agent what this was all about whenever that agent escorted him out into the hallway. Now, we didn't think too much into it until we overheard the mayor getting handcuffed by those GBI agents. That's when our cameras started rolling. We were the only ones rolling our cameras as those GBI agents escorted him out of the government center and put the mayor into a black SUV and took him to the McDuffie County Jail. Now, within the last hour, he has been escorted out of the jail. He did not leave a comment to us whenever we asked, but we were rolling as they escorted him out of the jail. But the city left us a statement saying, as we understand, the charges in this case are not related to Mr. Cranford's duties as an elected official. We do not have a comment. The GBI charged the mayor with furnishing prohibited items to inmates and criminal attempt to commit a felony. Arrest warrants accuse the mayor of giving state prisoners from the Jefferson County Correctional Institution a bottle of liquor. The GBI says on June 6th, the Thompson Police Department requested that the GBI conduct an investigation into the allegation that Cranford gave alcohol to a group of inmates working within the city limits of Thompson. Today, the case was presented to a McDuffie County grand jury, and then a grand jury arrest warrant was issued for Mayor Cranford. The GBI says Mayor Cranford was booked into the McDuffie County Jail upon his arrest. And like I said, just within the last hour, Mayor Cranford was escorted out of the jail. He did not leave a comment for us as we were rolling our cameras. Now, all these developments have just come within the last couple of hours. We are going to continue following this as new developments come our way, and we'll be sure to keep you updated.
Well, a former South Carolina sheriff's federal trial is coming to a close after a Queen City News investigation led to his arrest.
Day 3 of the Marlboro County's Charles Lemon's trial wrapped up yesterday in Florence.
Lemon was at the center of our Lost Trust investigation. Video shows the then sheriff order then deputy Andrew Cook to use a taser to shock an inmate several times inside the county jail in May 2020. Someone inside the sheriff's office later destroyed that body cam evidence, but our chief investigator, reporter Jody Barr, obtained that recording. Cook took the stand earlier this week in the first day of Lemon's trial after pleading guilty for his role in the incident.
Jody has been following this investigation and trial closely and joins us live in Florence. Jody, tell us about the major development from the case yesterday.
Well, Will and Janet, that major development was that the prosecution, the federal government has now rested its case. They are finished presenting witnesses and evidence against Charles Lemon. Now it's Charles Lemon's defense team's turn to now present his case to convince this federal jury that Charles Lemon did not commit a civil rights violation against Jarrell Johnson inside the county jail there in May of 2020. But the man who got all this started, the man at the center of our lost trust investigation, took the stand here yesterday. Trevor Murphy, who led Charles Lemon's investigative unit, showed up as a prosecution witness here at the courthouse yesterday.
And when somebody violates that or violates you, report it. If nobody listens at the sheriff's office, go to SLED. If nobody listens at SLED, go to the FBI. If nobody listens at the FBI, go to Jody Barr. So find somebody that'll listen, and once they do, let the Lord handle the rest.
We met then Lieutenant Trevor Murphy during our final disrespects investigation way back in 2021. Murphy went on the record with us then. He gave us a document titled Lemon Laws, and that was a booklet that Murphy said detailed multiple civil rights violations committed by his boss back then, Sheriff Charles Lemon. Murphy also provided us and SLED with a copy of that booklet and the jailhouse tasing video from May 2020, a video that led to the indictments of Charles Lemon and Deputy Andrew Cook. Prosecutors questioned Murphy about the press release he sent out in 2020 about the jailhouse tasing, with how Marlboro County painted that incident. The subject line of that email said, "Man accused of assaulting Sheriff Lemon." The release continued, Jarrell Johnson was putting the safety of those at the jail at risk, and that Johnson attempted to flee from his cell and attack Charles Lemon. Now, after that assault, Sheriff Lemon is fine and in good health, the press release read. Murphy also testified he discussed the release with Lemon and got his approval before he sent that release out to reporters. The indication here is that the sheriff's version of what happened did not tell the full story. Prosecutors also called a SLED expert who analyzed both Lemon and Deputy Cook's tasers from the jailhouse use of force. Lemon never fired his taser, but data shows he turned it on and off 10 different times during that jailhouse assault. Deputy Cook's data showed 6 taser pulls, and that Cook shot Jarrell Johnson a total of 29 seconds throughout that entire ordeal.
Now, Jody, with the prosecution resting its case, we understand the defense is asking the judge to do something that could end the case this morning.
Yeah, the defense, it was actually during witness testimony yesterday, the defense filed a motion asking the judge to enter a judgment of acquittal against Charles Lemon. Now, that motion argues that the government failed to prove and provide any evidence that Charles Lemon committed the elements of the crimes that he's charged with, and that crime again is a deprivation of civil rights under color of law. The judge took some argument on that yesterday here late in the day, but the judge said he would spend overnight tonight mulling over what he will do with that. Now, if the judge approves this judgment of acquittal, Charles Lemon could walk out of these doors around lunchtime today, a free man, no longer under the prosecutorial weight of the federal government. But if the judge denies that motion and sends this to the jury will then decide whether Charles Lemon is guilty or innocent of these charges. Now, the defense, if this is denied this morning, the defense will begin putting up their expert witnesses. The defense team told the judge they could finish this sometime around lunch or after, but they say it's likely they will not finish this their case today, and the jury may not see this case until either Monday or Tuesday, and we will be here until the final gavel of the judge's final gavel and the verdict comes in.
As of now, there are so many questions that have yet to be answered, but we do know Easter Lefa will not see her 17th birthday. She won't see her junior year of high school here in Anchorage, which she was supposed to start this week. Her family telling Alaska's news source today that the shooting and her death could have been avoided if police had simply asked questions of their own. Rebecca Paulshaw reports.
That's her and her nephews.
This is her?
Yeah.
Easter Lifa was happiest around her family.
She loves all of our kids like it's her own.
Her sisters and mother have countless photos of all her big moments. She had just turned 16 and was excited to start her junior year of high school this week.
Me as a mom, I was so feel sorry for my daughter.
There will be no back-to-school pictures.
You know, at this point, we want justice because that was not right. She was a minor. They should have asked questions when they came in. Instead, they came in ready, looking like they were ready to shut her down.
The family says APD was called because Easter hit one of her sisters with the knife. Anchorage police say an officer shot Easter inside this apartment several times when Easter didn't obey commands to drop the knife.
She's not a social person. We could talk to her. She will drop it, and she will be back to herself any minute. But he denied us. So them going at her like that, and she doesn't know that much. She just moved here. It's very different here than how it is back home.
Her family says Easter has only lived in Anchorage for about 5 months after moving here from American Samoa. She moved here to be with family and have a better opportunity in school.
Just a 16-year-old came to the U.S. looking for a good school in the future. Now she's gone.
We asked the family to tell us about Easter. She liked singing. She was quiet and a homebody. Easter's mother fell to the ground, overwhelmed with the moment. And the end of her child's future.
As of now, there are so
With that, I think we'll wrap up the show. Just remember, folks, I know you already know, never call the police for a welfare check or like they're going to help somebody, because you know what's going to happen, okay? They're going to help that person to heaven, and then they'll go out and get themselves a new tattoo. That's what they do. All right? You people are absolutely wonderful. Thanks for being here for the Bad Apple Report every day, bright and early at 7:30 a.m., right here at home on the range. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning, bright and early. Have a great day, folks.